welcome to the Bottom Up Skills Podcast. I'm Mike Parsons. I'm the CEO of Qualitance, and we continue with our tech trends. That's right. And we are going to talk about low code, maybe no code. But you got it. We are talking about the big technology that is clearly everyone's favorite. It was really quite unanimous when we did our recent emerging trends report to find how many people are considering low code. So it really deserves our attention in this episode. Let's get into the world of no code and low code and unpack why this is such a big deal for companies that are looking to build new products and services. So as I said, we were doing our emerging trends report recently. And if you haven't checked that out, just head over to bottomup.io. It's all free. You can go there, download it, and enjoy the full report. But today, we're just jumping into the idea of no code. And it was amazing. 26% of the respondents that did this global survey, over 100 people participated, they ranked no code as the highest short-term priority, 26%, one single tech. And that was the choice. And it's really fascinating because when you look at the others, you know, in the second place was cloud-first solutions, which is pretty natural. But for example, AR, VR, digital health, all of those way back in the pack compared to no-code solutions. So let's dig into this and ask ourselves, why is no-code so popular and how might we leverage it? Without a doubt, the promise of no-code really comes in the fact that when you're launching a new product or service, or even managing a new product, the effort that it takes for business and design folks to get things happening in the technology, in the application, the software and the data and the UX is usually a huge effort. And what the promise of no code is to make that process faster and easier. And effectively, what it means is that people who do not have engineering technology skills, who are not developers, are able to get products to market a lot quicker and to be more continuous and adaptive as the product is launched and you start to learn what customers are liking. So this is the promise of it. And without a doubt, it really is transformative because we know how hard it is to find developers. It's even harder to find good developers. So we're really looking at a solution that really speaks to the deficiency of skills in the overall workplace. There's just not enough good software engineers. So it's about this speed. It's that's achieved through having less effort, less blockers to get to launch. But I think it's also equally about the agility to be more in line with continuous development best practices. So if it's less effort, goes faster, I mean, it all just sounds so good, doesn't it? But I think what was interesting about the report is that we actually had a few insights that put this into context and give us a sense of what we need to do in order to use no-code solutions successfully. Now, I think the first and most important thing is that we need what we call in the business world the configurator persona archetype. Said differently, these are people who might resemble business analysts who are super sharp at understanding the business, the rules, the logic of the business, who are able to then also understand the customer. That's quite a rare role. I mean, these would be almost product owners, if you will. And the reason that these roles are really important is that if you're going to go no code or low code, what happens is a lot of the due process between designers, business people, and engineering, where there are checks and balances, you create user stories and you do all those sort of things, they can be bypassed in a no-code solution. You can jump straight into the back end and start drag and dropping things around. But the question is, who's going to do that work? And it's this idea of a configurator, someone who can really drive the dashboard, the admin, who really understands all of the rules that you have, because not only will you be dragging and dropping changes in the process, the very best no-code solutions have an instant deployment mechanic, meaning when you drag, drop, and save, that one is going live immediately. So you need to make sure that it's done correctly. Now, in speaking to Jaco Foch at OMV Petrom, he had this great expert advice. He said you have to engage and mobilize citizen developers within your company because they will lead the way. They will be these configurators. And they are the people who are really going to understand the systems from a business logic perspective. They're going to understand all of the implications of thinking, doing, new features, updates, and services, tweaks to your product. But they're also going to have the background, the history as to what has worked and what hasn't. So yes, there is this promise of moving with much more agility, which is very central to the theme of how to work in this modern age of digital transformation. But you need to actually make sure that you don't have a skills deficiency in another area. If you're trying to skip over the lack of engineers, you're going to need these citizen developers. You're going to need these configurators who are really driving the business. So you need to make sure you develop those skills. Now, there's another big learning that we had, which is when you want to go to a low code or a no code environment, one of the very important paradigms is to truly understand the business rules, the logic, and the flows that work with inside of your product. Now, what is exposed when you have a no-code setup is you need to actually install and configure the application to respect your business rules, your business logic. And what I often find is that is easily said. Yeah, we've got this. We've got all our business rules. But I cannot tell you, after decades of doing new products and services, when you say, okay, give me the overall systems architecture of your entire business stack so I can understand where this new product is going to sit. Give me all for this particular product. I want all of the offline business rules, logic and processes, all the gates that it needs to go through, all of the dependencies, the human flows, the automation flows. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it is rare that an organization is able to provide me with all of those things. This is assuming that they're all sitting there saying, yes, we need to build something new. Let's talk to Mike and his team. And then we ask for this, and they don't have them. Usually they have half of them, 2/3, but working on the system rather than just in the system is actually a far greater challenge. And if you're going to employ no code and get the most out of it, here's the catch, is you need to understand those business rules and those business logics in order to apply that. Otherwise, you can't drag and drop. You can't operate no code because there's no underlying rules for which it is going to operate. And the last thought here is this is the perfect time to ask yourself, well, rather than just copy and duplicate what we're doing offline or what's in our existing digital system, let's take this new opportunity that no code presents to ask ourselves what would be the best approach to our business rules and our best business logic. How might we reduce complexity, not only for our customers, but our employees too? How might we take our learnings from all the data we're getting back on the product today so we can build a better product tomorrow? So no code, huge promise, very exciting. Agility, speed. I mean, this is the key formula for success in digital transformation. However, you need to make sure that you truly study and optimize your business rules and your business logic. And talking about building great products, there's one place in the world that you can go where you get a bunch of free masterclasses, and that's bottomup.io. That's right. We've made all of our internal and client courses totally free to everyone. So you can learn design thinking, agile, lean. There's a ton of courses. I think we're almost at 20 courses, absolutely free for everybody. So hit us up at bottomup.io. Okay, so that's it for our study of no-code solutions. It's top of the list. If you study no-code solutions, if you go to bottomup.io, you'll be the top of the class too. Okay, that's it for the Bottom Up Skills podcast. That's a wrap.